It's time for What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. Here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome, Reno. This is your host, Phil McDougall, president of the National Automobile Museum. And this show, which is called What Drives Reno, is made possible by the National Automobile Museum. If you haven't been there recently, it changes every 60 days as a new exhibit. We were recently, actually, it's not recently now, it's been about a month or so that we are awarded fifth best automobile museum in the entire country by USA Today and TripAdvisor. Favorite place to visit in Reno and Sparks. So we're very, very grateful for that. We're going to jump right into the show today. I'm very excited to have Mayor Lawson with us. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Mayor, we're going to go into it. It's kind of a tradition here. We're going to ask you to tell us what your first car was and if there's any interesting stories you want to share behind that.
So my dad was a motor cop in Las Vegas where I grew up. So I really had a motorcycle as my first car.
Right out of the gate. Now, actually, we've been doing this for coming on like 12 months now. Very first person that said their first automobile was a motorcycle.
Well, it kind of was a longer story in that my dad had totaled the car that I was supposed to get when I was 16.
See, there's always a good part behind it.
Right. A month before I turned 16, the car got wrecked. And it was a 66 Pontiac GTO that I still miss that car today.
Ah, wow. See, but there always is a story that either the car they were supposed to get got taken away at the last minute. When it became a reality, parents said no, or they had it for a very short period of time. But this is the first one that you got a motorcycle. I still want to go with the car, but
little
motorcycle.
Honda 400, and went back and forth to school and play football and had a great time.
No interesting stories you want to share with us? It's only between us. There's only three people there,
only
1.5 billion people listening.
Million, then it goes up to billion once China wakes up in about 45 minutes. So.
Yeah, I've always loved riding motorcycles. I used to, my dad worked swing shift, so he would get to debriefing about midnight, and all my friends had to be home by 11 or 12, so I'd go down to the Las Vegas police station on my motorcycle, do debriefing with him, and then ride home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we did that on Friday and Saturday nights. It was good bonding. It also made me I couldn't get in much trouble in Las Vegas in those days. I had 400 fathers out there watching out for me.
If he was in law enforcement, he had a lot of people watching.
Oh, yeah. When there was a party or something, they'd find me, the cops would, and say, what's going on?
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Or you know that look that parents give? Actually, you probably had a whole bunch of officers just giving you that look. Just a nod.
Did. Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time growing up in Las Vegas. It was time to get out of Vegas, though, when I got out of school. So I got a full-ride scholarship to Colorado State. Met my wife in
sports? Scholarship in sports?
College football,
Football? That's great.
In 1978. And was there till 83. Met my wife 79. We've been married 43 years this summer.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Is that unusual nowadays?
It is. It really is.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself, like kind of go from Vegas. How did you get here? How did you become mayor? And a couple of the highlights around between there and now.
Okay. So as I said, went to Fort Collins, met my wife there. That was a time when all the oil companies in 1983, when I graduated, was all the oil companies pulled out of Denver. So the economy in Colorado just went in the tank. And so we ended up moving back to Las Vegas for a short period of time where I worked for Motorola Schaumburg as a national radio, two-way radio sales guy. And then they laid off 6,500 of us.
Oof,
so, yeah, nationwide. That was kind of a fun day, making pretty good money. And then all of a sudden, by the way, you don't have a job anymore. Mm. So we came up here and worked for what they call a Motorola service station. And I did that for many, many years. And then went to Young Electric Sign Company, where I was sales, and then I was a manager of the branch. And my role that probably got me into this was government relations. I was the government relations person. So I did all the speaking to the different county commissions and city councils because I also ran the billboard plant. So I got in front of a lot of people all over northern Nevada, late nights at 11, 12 at night getting home. But I just looked around one day and I said, I know I'm smarter than this guy, and I'm at least as smart as this guy. So I said, let's give it a shot. And we ran in 2010 and won, and have been winning ever since.
Was your first office you run for?
Yep,
Was
first for city council.
City council. How long were you on city council for?
Until 2020, when the mayor passed, I became the mayor pro tem, and then I became mayor, and then I got reelected in 22. And then since we get this question all the time, how can you keep going past the term limits? Well, because the mayor of Sparks does not vote. There's about 4 or 5 of us in the state of Nevada. Mayor Tedford out in Fallon, he's been there 30-something years as the mayor. So if you don't vote, you're considered executive branch. If you vote, then you're considered legislative branch, and that's where the term limits are, is on the legislative branch.
So you win. I did not know you win. You just keep
learn
going.
something new
Learned
today.
something. I learned
See, every day there's something new.
I got a civics degree today. Thank you.
Okay, so now you're mayor. You've been mayor for how long now?
6 years.
6 years. Everything you thought it would be and more?
No. No,
It's just between us.
Yeah, there's just, there's days that it's frustrating, and sometimes my sense of humor doesn't come with me. And
My wife says that all the time. She goes, "That's not funny." What? I don't know about you, but I get the look from my wife as I'm saying these things, and I go, "Oh, it's one of those not funny things."
Yep. My wife, she tells me to go out there and be charming.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to be charming.
Inside, I say I'm really funny. Just the facial expressions don't come off to match the inner joy that I have. Right.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about. Tell us in the day in the life of mayor. What does that involve?
Generally, there's just a lot of emails to start with, 200 to 300 emails a day.
Sorry about that, by the way. I'm very sorry for sending all those.
And actually, since we're here, can we address the restraining order we have against Kerri over here? Those 300 emails are a bit excessive, Terry.
They are.
I haven't had to have a restraining order against anyone, but we've had some strange characters walk into the office, which has been interesting. The one guy who called himself a, quote, First Amendment auditor shows up in a baseball cap, glasses, and a mask, and starts walking around the City Hall filming everybody and not saying a word. So he just creeped a lot of people out.
They're just there to cause a ruckus. And if anybody causes a ruckus, then they say you're squelching their First Amendment rights and blah, blah, blah,
They
blah,
like
blah.
to just test the waters.
They're very annoying.
Yeah, but that's, those kind of things. So
That is my opinion,
We
not
changed
yours.
some things, did some more security matters, because we actually had one guy walk in and said he wanted to see the mayor and then walked behind the secretary's desk and was trying to get on their computer. So
Yeah, you see all types. I see all types.
And then the best part of the job is all the kids, the bike to school days, where I love to ride my Harley with the kids. And
You're still riding the motorcycles.
yeah,
Perfect. See?
I'm wearing my Harley shirt
Yeah,
today.
that's true. That's true. I
I'm,
got to get you a museum shirt, though, just to kind of mix it
Okay.
back and forth.
Well, open to that. I go every year on a week-long trip someplace with a bunch of my friends, and then I ride as much as I can, usually once or twice a week.
See, right away, no one's going to know what I'm talking about. What's that movie John Travolta was in? The motorcycle movie? You know what that one was?
Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs. I just had that in my mind. Nothing to do with how you guys do it, but one of my favorite, funniest movies.
Yeah.
So you're going through, talk about some of the accomplishments, talk about whatever you want to talk about, things that you're really proud of, some things that you're still working on, some things that maybe there's some misinformation or things you want to clarify. Because I say this all the time, especially when I have elected officials in here. The people that are out there usually are really, really misinformed. They get information from the internet, which is always right. It's God, nothing ever wrong with that.
No, ever.
But there's so many things that people read in a little snippet, or you get those commercials for 30 seconds and they take a little snippet of information and they just go with it. It's so misleading. So the floor is yours to talk about whatever you want to talk about at
I
your
think
world.
that's probably the one thing that we deal the most with is misinformation. And what does the city council and the mayor actually have power over versus the state and the federal? I hear a lot of people, we're going to change this, we're going to change that, and we're going to do this and that. And so, well, you have to first get federal approval, and then you're going to have to get state approval. And then they may let you have that power to do something. We're a Dillon's law, Dillon's rule state.
What does that mean?
Means the power flows from the state down to the local level.
Even if federal and state says it, I'm assuming there's 50 other million steps in between the hearings and other things that have to take place.
Well, what we say, like, we have to have permission, I guess is the easiest way to say it. The state has to give us permission to do something. I can't raise taxes. I can't raise fees We have certain things that we have control over on some franchise fees. But other than that, we're facing budget deficits because of our property tax system in Nevada. And, I always catch a lot of hell for this, but, we pay the lowest property tax in America, next to Hawaii and Alabama. We're the third lowest.
Didn't know that?
Yep. And we pay for schools out of our property tax, and Hawaii does not. Most of their tax is brought on by the tourist tax. So
interesting.
When we look at this, we start off with, we only tax you on 35% of the value of your home. And then from there, we discount it 75% more over the next 50 years.
Wow.
So
35% of the home value, then you discount it 75% on top of that?
And you can only go up 3% a year by law. So you take your depreciation out or your discount, and that's trying to run a city on 1.5% increase each year.
Well, you can see how you can run out pretty quick.
If you're in business, you can't run a business on 1.5%. So it's just simple math. It's not that difficult. Over the last 5 years, our expenses have gone up because, once again, that's in state law. Our expenses have gone up 54%. Our revenues have gone up about 36%.
What do you mean state law expenses?
Meaning I have to pay a wage commensurate with the other jobs in the area.
Oh, okay.
So if Reno gives a 10%
of this revenue, you need to pay comparable salaries
have to be within 5% by law. So if they give a 10% increase in Reno, we got to give a 10% increase in Sparks.
Well, again, very interesting. You heard it here. See, I think most people, including myself, don't know. They just look at their tax bill and go, "Oh, okay." Then they say, where's it going
too much.
to?" Yeah, I mean, because nowadays it's tough, especially with all the growth and the salaries. I'm 100% wrong. You know better than me. But with the additional growth in the area of the last 20 years, I'm assuming the average wages have gone up, but nowhere close to correlating with the
just as an example,
your revenue coming in.
The PERS, we have no control over. It's set in state law. PERS, the Public Employees Retirement System, PERS, went up 9%. We're now paying 59.75% on the dollar. So if you make $1, we pay 59 cents of it goes to your retirement. And then we pay 100% of your health care. So by the time we add those two together, your benefits are just as much as your salary.
All right. So with that uplifting news, tell me what are the biggest things that in the time we have about 5 minutes left. I mean, you could do an hour show on every element you just talked about to educate people. Yeah. What's some of the most burning issues that you're facing right now, or Sparks is facing, that you want to address?
Well, we are out of land in essence in Sparks. So where we are at this point is. I've been working on a lands bill for about the last 8 to 10 years, trying to get the land east of Sparks so we can grow towards Story County. I mean, they're the 800-pound gorilla. They've got 30,000 jobs out there, people commuting every day. I mean, why are we not growing to that employment center? Working on that, it's not easy to get a federal lands bill. Now we're at the federal level where everything changes. So that is probably the biggest thing we need. Right now, we have only about 6,000 to 8,000 homes to build in Sparks, and then we're done. Once we stop building homes,
because the government owns the rest of the land.
Correct. So it's BLM, or we're landlocked by Reno borders or the county.
We're talking about a lot of information. I guarantee you, I didn't know, and a lot of our listeners didn't know. So let's jump right back into it. You were sharing some information about the growth and less revenue coming in, more expenses going up.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of the nature of the beast. And here's an interesting statistic that no one really talks about, is that we have 57 million acres of government-owned land in Nevada. That is more area than like 42 states, to put it in perspective.
Wow.
57 million acres of federal land. And we're talking about what we would like to see just east of Sparks is about 20,000 acres. Which is a 0.0 something, we're talking about a drop in the bucket to make growth that could make an actual difference for the Northern Nevada.
What are the steps we need to take? I had the pleasure of interviewing the governor at the museum a few weeks ago, and he said the biggest limitation we have, or one of them, my words, not his, was what we're talking about. Yep. We don't own the land. They have to release the land.
Correct.
So this sounds like the same question.
We all are saying the same thing. Governor and I are very good friends, and he understands it. He gets it. It's kind of funny as we figured out we both grew up in Vegas at the same time, but went to two different high schools.
So he's great guy.
He is. He's pretty
come
awesome.
To the museum a couple of times now, open forum, town hall, and he just goes over things that in layman's terms, for the average person to understand, versus the little sound bites of all the anti-stuff back and forth. Both parties do it, but you got to get someone in front of you to understand what's really happening. So we have a couple of minutes left. What would you like us, our viewers, to know, to learn, to get involved, any of the above?
So I think, you're going to have a choice on who to vote for mayor and Sparks. I do my homework. I got into this because I wanted to make a change. And from the very first, in 2014 was the first ordinance I changed. Then I got changed where when you build a home, you don't pay the fees up front, which normally is around $50,000 to $70,000 per door. So you don't have to carry that as a developer until the C of O. That's when you pay it, the certificate of occupancy. So you're not paying interest on that for that 10 months, 12 months, whatever it takes to build a home. That changed. So we changed a lot of sign ordinances. I've done a lot of those things that I'm looking to make it easier to do business in the city of Sparks. My slogan's always been, find a way to say yes. That's a cultural thing within the city of Sparks now. When you walk in the door and say, hey, I want to do this, well, the answer is yes, but here's the hurdles you need to get over. So we'll help you get over them if you want to get over those hurdles.
I love that. I always talk to my team. I said, instead of saying things to me like, well, it's going to be really hard, say, we can do it if we accomplish these 2 or 3 things. Right. Go into it with the positive side. Yeah, we all know there's obstacles and things. So I appreciate coming on the show. If people want to get involved, learn more, where do you recommend that they go to?
Well, if you want to get involved in my campaign, I'll give you my website is edlawson.net, edlawson.net. And that will tell you a lot of what I'm doing, what I've been doing. I love my city, raised my boys here. We always have fun. Both boys graduated from UNR, and me and my wife from Colorado State. So Colorado State UNR rivalry is alive and well at the Lawson House.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for everything you do, and I would love to have you come back on the show. But thank you for taking the time. I've invited a lot of elected officials, and I'm surprised some of them don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They don't. And you said yes right away. So thank you very much for coming on board. And thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
We'll be right back in a couple of minutes, guys. Taking a quick break.
We'll be back with more What Drives Reno on 1060 AM KFOY, Radio for America.
Looking for a venue for your next event? The National Automobile Museum can host any event in a variety of venues to choose from. Have an awards ceremony in the 157-seat theater or select one of several themed galleries for a business luncheon or banquet. Guests will love the 16,000-square-foot Riverside Pavilion, complete with outdoor bar, heaters, and fire pits. Everything you need, including chairs, linens, staging, and AV equipment, are also available. Go to automuseum.org for details.
From engines to innovators, What Drives Reno is your front row seat to the stories fueling our city. Join Phil McDougall of the National Automobile Museum as he explores the cars, culture, and community that make Reno roar. It's more than horsepower, it's people power. What Drives Reno? Catch the drive, catch the vibe. Don't miss it. Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on 1060 a.m. KFOY, Radio for America. We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now, here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome back, Reno. Again, this is your host, Phil McDougall, and this show is made possible by the National Automobile Museum. I'm really excited because we got our next guest here today. Actually, our 2 guests. We have Michael Norman, and Michael is a volunteer coordinator, outreach, everything else. He wears a lot of different hats at the National Automobile Museum. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Mike. He likes me to say Mike, and I keep forgetting. And do we have time? At the end, we will try and tell the story how we met. Just one last time. I embellish the story every single time. And Mike looks at me and goes, Phil, none of that happened. But in my mind, it made sense.
I still have the video.
Yes, you do. Probably do. All right. And our other guest is Jim Clark, referred to you as the train man?
The train man, yeah. That's, as of late, late 40 years.
The last 40 years or so. And the more I know about you, the more I'm just amazed at all the things you've been involved in. So first of all, thank you both for coming on the show here today. Again, start off as a tradition. Your first car, Jim, what was it?
Oh, boy. My first car that's worth talking about was a 1957 Plymouth Belvedere.
Nice.
And because I couldn't race trains, I thought, well, I got to race a car. Cars are a little easier. And,
yes.
I spent a lot of my life, my early life, reading magazines because I lived alone. I had a sister, but my dad worked a lot. My mother passed away. So there's a story attached to why so much interest in trains and cars, and it had to do with I could have been in trouble a lot, but I actually stayed home and read. I really did. I read lots of technical magazines and stuff growing up, and the trains were a little hard to get into, if you understand. And my dad bought me a train set, and my uncle says, there's something wrong with this kid. He doesn't want to play with that train set. He wants to go to the train yard all the time and look at the big trains. But I could work my way into automobiles. So that 57 Plymouth was a car that I took apart, and it was my dad's family car for the three of us. And he finally just said, just keep the stupid thing you got all over the garage. Yeah.
Did you get it back together again?
Always, because I wanted to race it. And I did. And it took me a little over a year to finally win my first trophy when I figured out, how to do carburetors and ignition and camshafts, and because I did all of that. And I graduated high school in 61. I won my first trophy in September 1961. I've still got it. I actually gave the trophy to my son, my oldest son.
That's great. Yeah. So what would you race in?
It was NHRA racing back then, drag strip, stock eliminator is what they had. And then later I graduated into super stock and then pro stock. And my grandson races a exact duplicate of my 1971 Demon pro stocker.
Very nice.
And then in the years mid-60s and through early 70s, I was never beat for many, many years. In super stock B automatic at Pomona, I had a 65 Dodge Coronet called a Race Hemi. That they only made a few of those. That was the acid-dipped one, with the big Hemi in it. And I got picked up by Chrysler then. And
as a sponsor?
Yeah, they sponsored me 100%. I got everything but a weekly check. That went to Sox and Martin and Dick Landy and those fellas. But I got a massive amount of parts because they loved my shop. It was in Southern California in the Baldwin Park, West Covina area, and right down the street from Irwindale Raceway.
You had best of both worlds. You had it all right there around the corner.
And we had a bar right on the corner that we shared. That
you had all three. And people don't know. Big smile came on when you brought that part
up.
Right. Mike, try and beat that. Tell us your first car.
I think it was a stolen 1948 Plymouth, as I recall. And no, I did have a 48 Plymouth. I would go back to the old days in Nebraska, and it was cold. The thing I remember, you turned the heater on, it made noise, but it generated no heat. And it was cold.
Good. Didn't feel good.
Didn't feel good at all.
Jim, I was introduced to you through Mike, and we talk about the cars and trains, and you got an amazing history, but talk a little bit about what's coming up, and Mike, you jump in here as well. We're really excited. We're going to have you at the National Automobile Museum. Talk about what's happening, and you guys just jump in, take the mic.
Well, if I can start out, I've been wanting to get Jim down here for a long time. He resides in Virginia City. Excuse me. And he puts on great shows around, but he hadn't been to Reno. And so since we have this great theater, I thought perfect place to have Jim come down and do one of his shows. He does several different ones. So that's the genesis of what's going on Sunday. Invited him down to do a show.
And it is sold out?
Yeah,
it is sold out.
Sold out from what I've heard. No, and I can't remember one of my shows that wasn't sold out.
That's great.
I admit that. And I've been all over the country. It's funny, I haven't gone north. I live in Virginia City. I used to live in Carson City. I got lots of years in this area. But I've never done a show in Reno.
You've been all the way to Atlantic.
Yeah, I've been everywhere.
35 miles north of us. Well, we're honored to have you here. Talk about, I saw the videos and some of the clips. And just share some stories, share your passion. I mean, you kind of told us the beginning about your dad and taking you to get the train set.
Trying to raise myself.
And your racing stuff. So tell us a little bit more. I've seen some of the movie clips. I mean, you've been part of some really big projects.
I've done well over 200 films, and it was kind of a little back up a little bit that I loved the trains so much, even though I had cars. Cars were a business, and I had a shop called Jim Clark's Engine Dynamics, and that was in Southern California. And then my son now has Brian Clark's Engine Dynamics, and my first shop was in business over 50 years. And
Southern
Chrysler,
California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chrysler used it as their headquarters when they came to race in Southern California. So back then, sometimes they'd leave a car, or they'd...
Did they get it back?
No.
No? See, that's good. That's where they went to.
They'd leave blocks and pistons and crankshafts and the wedges, the 426 stage 1, 2, 3 wedges, and the Hemis were my specialty. And the shop was famous for having really fast Mopars. But the thing to realize is I still had that love for trains. And all my cars had murals of trains on the side of them, and Chrysler would even design my cars that way. They'd send a drawing, make your car look like this, and it'd have a big train on it.
That's cool.
Yeah. But what happened was, as I got later and later, I was able to work full-time and own a railroad that I put together part by part. In Southern California, I came back.
California. Pause. Did you just hear that transition?
I did, yeah.
I have my garage, and then I put parts, and then I own a railroad.
You're talking about
how did that happen?
You're talking about playing Monopoly, right?
It does sound crazy, but like my uncle said, there's something wrong with this kid. He doesn't like model trains. He only wants 12 inch to the foot scale, So I wound up back in Southern California in an area just 30 miles from Hollywood. And in fact, Magic Mountain, know that area? Newhall, all that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a house there and everything again. I moved back there for a while. But I had 3 railroads eventually, all in that area. And it was abandoned track or even running on Metrolink. And I bought equipment. Some of it was certified, like still rolling in good shape. Talking about big locomotives, steam engines. And I went to wrecking yards. They have them for railroad cars just like they do for automobiles. Mm-hmm. And I bought, beat up old freight cars and fixed them up. And the reason for that was I was the only guy they could ever find that they could talk to me, and I owned it, ran it, worked on it, and crashed it. And it would be, we want you to run into this car, and we're going to blow it up, and we're going to do this and that. And finally, I got smart enough after the first couple films, because I did like 74 films in the first location in 4 years.
How long was the track?
Yeah, I had 2 miles, 3 miles, and later I had 10 miles.
I thought you were thinking 100 yards or something like that.
No, it ran over by Magic Mountain, and then otherwise you might know where Fillmore or Santa Paula.
They used to film a lot of series, China Beach and Tour Duty. Is that
right there? Same property.
Same property.
Newhall Ranch.
Wow.
Okay.
Newhall Ranch.
My little infomercial. So for about a year and a half, every single episode of China Beach, when they're jumping out, that's me. I'm the extra jumping out, and there's one on tour duty jumping out of a helicopter, running, and my hand is on the end. I had to go to emergency because I didn't know how to hold a gun. And in China Beach, Delaney, we did a thing, and I actually slid under it during it. Excuse me. But I was at that particular place, exactly what you just said.
You were just down the street from me.
Down the street, yeah.
And I got to tell you, do you remember the ambulance that they had?
No.
It was a Korean War type ambulance. They bought that from me because I collected old cars, which I was always in cars to this very day. And I had that and an M30 Jeep, and all kinds of stuff that they kept renting. Finally, they just bought it. So on that show, I was part of China Beach in that respect.
That's cool. When I got there, I got this little spiff. I mean, you make like $20, and if you say you'll do something, you can fire a gun. They'll give you an extra 40.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
do something else.
That's called a bump.
Bump. So I said bump, and then right when they brought me over, they said, "Oh, your hair's too long." I didn't have any time to change. They shaved my whole head.
Right there.
What? For like $10, okay.
Yeah, you got a bump.
That's going to get me through.
They blew smoke in your face. Another $10, $25.
Yeah, that's good. That paid the bills.
Exactly. And I was down around the corner, And Baba Black Sheep was going on at the same time, too.
Conrad.
Yeah, Conrad and Jan Michael Vincent, who
Exactly
was it Conrad? Yeah, I'm trying to think. Ernest Borgnine was part of that.
Yeah, he was maybe
it was the other show.
Wild West. No, Baba Black Sheep.
Either way, there was so much going on there, and then I had the railroad.
So you were the guy who did all the railroad crashes and that. So
for many years.
Many years. You got any favorite stories you want to share with us?
I built a railroad in Paramount Ranch, which was off the 101, if you remember the freeway there. Yep. And it was a narrow gauge in this case. They wanted 3-foot gauge. And I made it angle this way and that way, and it was only maybe 400 feet. But after 24 episodes that I did on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, it looked like it was miles and miles, of track. But the funny part there was one of the episodes, they shot me because the hero takes over the train, Scully, I think is his name, whatever. And, I'm hanging out the side of the window. And a couple of weeks later, the director was the same director. It was Jane Seymour's husband, James Keach. Okay, the Keach brothers. Yeah. You familiar with all those?
Stacy and James, right?
Yep. And he says, Jim, we can't use you again. We blew you away just a week or two ago. And I says, yeah, that's right, but I have a contract.
So you're going to have to use me again.
And I don't want to tell you, at that time, which was good, it was in the 90s, it was $1,000 a day, to run the train and take care of it and always be ready. You had to be, they call you the next day maybe, day before. And I was always ready. And I said, well, let me tell you, I got to run the train. Nobody else does. And they said, James says, it's 1872, and Jane did plastic surgery recently in the show. So I think we can bring you back to life. That's just what you're going to have to.
How many trains did you own? Were different types of trains?
Yeah, everything from turn of the century on and before. Lots of diesels and steam engines, and some I owned, some I leased, and lots of rolling stock, passenger and freight equipment. We blew up everything, throw mama from the train.
Oh, nice.
I did the first.
One of my favorites.
Fast and Furious. I'm trying to think of your Lethal Weapon 4. After a while, you forget. You got so many, you can't remember them all.
How many did you say you did? 70-some?
No, I did over almost 250.
250?
Because of TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Hardcastle, McCormick, MacGyver. You just go, this week you did 3 shows and you did 4 shows, that kind of thing.
Have you ever been watching something and went, hey, I think I worked on that?
That's exactly what's happening. It really is.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I was digging through a pile of old videotapes, and I'm trying to think of the name of the show now to help you. I even forgot I did the show, and it was a VHS, and I ran it, and I go, gee, that was really good, because I had a speaking part, and we ran the train, and I remember that they said, you're also going to be with this Mexican fella in this bar. And he and I became really good friends, and we got drunk in the scene.
Doing the whole scene?
Yeah, his name was Luis Contreras. So I remember that really well. He's a great guy.
Cool. Before we get back into our conversation with Jim Clark and Mike Norman, I want to remind you that the National Automobile Museum has a new exhibit every 60 days. You haven't been down there recently. You'd be surprised how much has changed. So we have today, we have Grease Lightning. So if you come down today by 1 o'clock, Grease Lightning is going to be there. We have Chris Murphy from Fox News, Mariana anchors. They're going to come down and take pictures in the Grease Lightning car. You come on, you get dressed up, you can take some souvenir photos. We have the Mr. Machine that's still there. But I want to remind you, because this is a big hit and it will absolutely sell out. So on June 20th, we have the Eagles Tribute. For those you don't know, we have a beautiful patio right on the Truckee River. We have fire pits there, 40-foot bar, but we have the Eagles Tribute Band coming in on June 20th, followed by the Jimmy Buffett Tribute on July 11th. The Beatles Tribute, August 29th, and the Creedence Clearwater Tribute, that's going to be on September 19th. And we're actually talking about throwing a 5th one in there, looking at trying to, for those Monkees fans, I'm trying to get the Monkees Tribute Band to come up here and entertain us. So mark your calendars, go to automuseum.org and learn more about it. You're going to have a great time, and it will sell out. Actually, I just saw the numbers, and we're almost there. All right, enough of the infomercials. I'm back with Mike Norman and Jim Clark, the Train Man. I want to talk to you, Jim, about your acting career. So you've won an Emmy, an Oscar.
No.
Okay, but no, just go with me on this.
In fact, In fact, the agent I had for a short time says, as many times I've sent you out and you haven't gotten a job yet, you have a great face for radio.
Great. So you two are a perfect pair.
Yeah, we are. We do well together.
You need your own radio show.
We should.
Yeah, you do.
Frickin' frack.
So tell me about your acting career.
Well, the biggest thing of the acting career is that I inserted myself into this position that if it's my train and I'm running it, and I fought to get Screen Actors Guild.
That's not easy to do.
It's not. It was real hard, but I finally won the battle because in one instance, I actually parked the train. He said, "What are you doing?" I says, "I get stunt pay, period." I'm doing the same thing everybody else is. Guys that are driving the truck, is going to get blown up and everything. I says, I'm running the train and going to get blown up. So in other words, I won that, and so I live on the residuals is what goes on.
Yeah.
Besides retirement and everything. But what was the question again?
I said, what is your favorite? Your Oscar or your... No. I said your acting career.
What my acting career then became was I got killed in every movie. And it became a life, a living. Just getting
it's
killed.
Kind of ironic. Yeah. Right? I was killed, but that was my life.
That's my life. Yeah.
And so, any favorite stories about that you want to share?
The last
favorite deaths. I don't know.
Last
film
I did after that I retired. I had my fill of the movie business. It wears you out after a while, and that's why last film to answer that question was The Lone Ranger, with Johnny Depp, and he was great, a good guy. But I built like 4 railroads. One of them was over 4 miles long. And we ran into things and we did this and did that. And it became so digital. And there's a long story behind all that I didn't like, I didn't agree with. But, that happened and I get paid for it. But you just make your own decision. And I decided that one of my shows that I might do at a later date was called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And everybody goes, oh, that's right. You knew Eastwood. And, that'd be a great. And I said, no, you don't get it. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the people I met in the movie business.
Is that what you're referring to?
That's the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. I didn't realize your time.
Another sellout last week.
No, that's great. So talk about that, because I thought you were doing a tie into the Clint Eastwood, too.
No, everybody does.
Are you literally talking about the good guys, the guys?
I went right down the list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to give some more time.
Hour and a half, right, Mike?
So give us some highlights. We got a couple of minutes left. Give us a couple.
I'll say some good things. The nicest guy, the best guy, the smartest guy I've ever met was Clint Eastwood. And I asked him, because I got a lot of nerve, and I said, "Could we want to come to the house for dinner tonight?" And of course, I told my kids that. I lived in Carson City at the time, and we were doing a movie locally. And he doesn't say much. He just kind of nods a little and whatever. And because we do so many setups, we're moving. Right. It had nothing to do with trains. I rented them cars. It was 33 cars I rented them. And I did locations for that film.
Which movie? Do you remember?
Yeah, Honky Tonk Man.
Okay.
Yeah. And I told my kids and wife, Clint might come over. Yeah, Dad. And sure enough, knock, knock, knock. And he was with Sandra because she flew in that day. And I didn't know that. She was over at the Ormsby house waiting for him to get off work. So, and he brought his producer and his son, Kyle. And so we shot guns in the garage because I had wax bullet type fast draw guns back then that I did, and he signed the pistols for me.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and I had them engraved. And then I did a film with Jack Palance, 2 of them, and he would be under where I say good, bad, and ugly, he'd be the bad because he's just kind of hard to get along with. And I would listen to people say, Mr. Palance, and he goes, "The name is Palance, like balance, you idiot."
He's really shy.
Oh, yeah, he's a real shy guy. But he signed one of the pistols, and then one of the other greatest guys I ever got to work with was Eli Wallach. He lived to be 100, and that guy, fantastic career.
Who won that quick draw contest with Clint Eastwood?
Sandra.
Sandra Locke.
That's really cool. That's cool. Wow. Jim, thank you.
It.
No, that's great. Mike, anything you want to add to the story?
No, it's just a great time to be around him. The history is remarkable. Just colorful.
Yeah, I know that we're sold out, but I got to give Mike a plug here because in addition, and I'm not exaggerating, Mike is in there volunteering at the museum. He's at admissions. He goes to all the events. He goes to everything, helping to get the word out at the museum. But Mike put this all on. Mike coordinated now. Mike put on. Mike is sponsoring the event.
Correct.
He's doing all the work here behind us. So, Mike, I really mean it. Thank you very, very much for everything you're doing.
Happy to do it.
This wouldn't happen, and you go above and beyond, Mike Norman. So thank you very, very much. And I'll say the story about how we met to another time.
Well, we'll try to get the right one sometime.
Yeah, I know, but it's funner when I keep embellishing. All right, Jim, Mike, thank you both very much. Take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
We'll be back with more What Drives Reno on 1060 AM KFOY, Radio for America.
I'm having my birthday at the National Automobile Museum. They have this cool birthday zone with Mater and Lightning McQueen. And their brand new Children's Activity Center has fun games like Junior Engineering Studio, Lego Building, an interactive car wash, and a lot more too. They even have a theater where we can watch a movie or play Mario Kart. I even get my own birthday t-shirt.
Book your child's ultimate birthday party today at the National Automobile Museum. Visit automuseum.org/events.
Sierra Arts Foundation is on a mission to make arts education readily available to the youth of our area. We're asking for your support to raise funds for the teachers and materials needed to provide arts education and integration to the youth of our community. There is nothing more important to the development of a young person's mind than the ability to explore their creative self. It literally holds the key to our society's future. Sierra Arts Foundation. Art starts here.
We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome back, Reno. This is your host, Phil McDougall, on What Drives Reno. Terry, some great guests.
Fantastic.
And we're going to wrap it up with a high note here with Kerri O'Neill. Did I get that right? Kerri O'Neill.
Kerri O'Neill with a K.
Kerri O'Neill with a K. Kerri, you are with TAC, powered by OneDigital. And thank you very much for coming on. Not only coming on the show, but thank you for all the support you've given the National Automobile Museum. You came on as a new partner. You have opened our eyes in so many different ways, and I'm a little scared because of how many ways you've opened it. No, don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Okay.
No, I thought you were going to say you should be scared, Phil.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, no. That's
I will
next
frighten
episode.
you in other ways, but not that way.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, Kerri. I want to talk to people here. Like, what do you do? But before we get into that, what is your first car, and is there a story behind it?
Yep, 1982 Ford Plymouth. It was a cream color. My mom gave me this car so I could drive her to work and drive myself to work. I was all of 17, 18. Driving her to work one morning, I was stopped for a bus and got rear-ended by two vehicles at once. We were taken to the hospital, and what scared me the most is when they asked me who the president was. And I don't know why that scared me so much. I'm like, oh my God, am I dying? Like, why are they asking me who the president is? But I was absolutely fine. The car was not. So my mom, the sweet, rest in peace mom, I came home and she had the settlement money on the carpet for me laid out in a heart to go buy a new car. So, I mean, that was really awesome.
Well, it started off bad, happy ending.
Yeah.
So did you know who the president was?
Yeah, it was Clinton. No, I knew it was Clinton. I'm like, oh my God, if it's not Clinton, then something is wrong with me.
Before we jump into it, you remember the old Jay Leno? Jay Leno. What was it called? Jay Leno on the sidewalk or whatever he did.
People in the street or
he would ask people of all ages, can you tell me who the president is? Who was the first president? How many states? And I'm like screaming at the TV, no! They had no idea. I mean, if they've just recently rear-ended, maybe a different story, but you got it right.
And I was concussed.
Yes. Okay, Kerri, tell me in the time we have, so many different things happening. The law changes constantly. Tell me what, first of all, PEO.
Yeah.
Tell me what that is.
PEO, right?
What is a PEO?
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is, but then I'm going to tell you what it's for. A PEO stands for Professional Employer Organization. Been around since the 70s. We're an organization that helps companies streamline their internal HR and compliance, providing a robust platform that streamlines the timekeeping to payroll, to benefits, to workers' comp, to 401k, making the internal HR's lives much easier, granting them much more time back, and possibly saving them money. But what is a PEO? Here's a great story I like to say because then it makes sense to people. I met with a business owner not too long ago. He just bought his business from another company. He was all ready to go, in it for his product. But he didn't know anything about business. He had his workers' comp with one broker, his benefits with another broker, payroll being done by one vendor, retirement somewhere else. He had all of these different people handling his internal business things, and it was all patched together. We sat down, we had lunch, great guy, and went through his financials. And at the end of it, we found out that he was overpaying by $17,000. Now, I'm not saying that PEO is going to save you $17,000. But what we do is we try to find the inefficiencies within to help you save the money and save the time. But within his case, he was being overcharged big time on workers' comp. He didn't know. He had no idea.
Most people don't know, though.
No, they don't know.
Most people that get a contract, unfortunately, or they're just trying to keep up with all the rules and regulations, and they're just making sure they're in compliance. But things change so much. I know that was the case with us as well. You opened our eyes. You streamlined things. You clarified things. You made a big difference for us.
And thank you so much, Phil, for granting us the trust with that. I wouldn't be a business consultant for PEO if I didn't believe in it. It really does help the small to medium-sized companies streamline their internal efficiencies. And we're not here to replace their internal HR. We're here to support their internal HR. And I know a lot of HR people think, oh, no, PEOs are going to take my job. But absolutely opposite. We need them there. We need the point of contact there to help run all of this. And we make their jobs a lot easier, making them look like a superstar to the owner.
So I want to take a break for 1 second, not a commercial break, but just remind people here, don't turn that dial. No, I want to remind people that what's our show about? What Drives Reno? It's about cars. We talk about them. It's about people, interesting people. And I mean, Jim was amazing as well.
I want to be amazing like Jim.
You are amazing by Jim.
Thanks.
So the biggest thing is that I want to make sure people understand that we're trying to provide a service and tell just fun stories and educate people. So our next segment here is because every single person has a small, medium, or large business. This isn't an infomercial. No. You're not buying time. I'm inviting you on here because you've made a difference. And there's people in this community that are listening that don't know what they're missing. They don't know what's available. And I'm going to say, I hate to say, they're probably in jeopardy of something not going well for them if they don't take the time to go learn more.
Probably.
So that's a big part of what we're trying to do. The people who are moving things in business, influencing
multi-state, expanding into other states. That's a big compliance issue.
It's a whole big thing here. So tell me, is there one or two couple of things you want to make sure our audience knows today that either is going to surprise them, wow them, shock them, depress them? Any one of those things you can share with us.
Sure. If you're a small to medium-sized company and you're losing employees, you're not attracting employees. Why? Because you're not offering the right package. It's not just about compensation anymore, unfortunately. It's about a rich benefit plan. And with the PEO, small companies get access to a Fortune 500 benefits plan, as well as a workers' comp plan and a 401k plan. So small business owners don't have access to this on their own.
Layman's terms, they have access to it because you're representing a huge entity, and the smaller ones are taking advantage of the big pie that you have to offer.
Multiple employer organizations, so we've got hundreds of thousands of companies involved in one pool, making it inexpensive for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good.
But it's important to people because I want them to understand that they're taking advantage of the bigger piece.
The bigger piece.
Even though they're a small company, they're going to take advantage of the benefits as a group, as everybody is involved in the plan.
They're going to attract, retain employees because the employees are now feeling welcomed. They're feeling that they're needed and that the employers want to make their lives better. And a PEO provides that.
So why do you do what you do? And I'm going to follow up with, if you didn't do what you're doing, this is the personal stuff. What would you be doing now if you weren't doing this?
Mm-hmm. Well, I love doing this. I wouldn't sell it if I didn't believe in it. Again, I love helping small companies. I think it's only right. And that's why I've worked for my company for 12 years. I believe in it tremendously. If I were not doing this, you fall backwards into things in life. So if I were to fall backwards into some sort of having a ranch with animals that needed a home and be cared for and then fostered out or adopted, I would do that in a heartbeat.
See, I love that part. I usually say, okay, what would you do if you won the lottery? But it's
open a ranch with animals.
Open a ranch with animals. Perfect. And I want to remind people, too, I'm jumping back and forth, though, but when people get involved with the PEO, they don't lose control.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of people go, well, I'm losing control. I'm a small company and I lose control. Not the case, right?
Nope. We have nothing to do with decisions about the business. Nothing. All the decisions are made by the owner. We are there simply to give them HR, legal, compliance guidance and best practices. We give you the information. You do what you want with it. But we recommend, here's the best practice. But again, it's your business. You do what you want. We don't hire or fire people. We do if you want us to help. We don't say, go fire that person or hire that person. If you would like our help to do these things in any way, then yes, that's what we would do. Yeah.
Well, you would help with the animals, but I guess I heard a little rumor that it probably wouldn't be a helicopter pilot. Huh. Is there any way that you can tie that back into a past experience?
I can't do that. Does anybody want to hear this? Because it's kind of gross.
Well, we can leave it. Kerri, we can always, as long as it's G-rated.
It's G-rated. It's just, if you're, you don't like puke involved. Okay, so.
People are tuning in. They're turning the volume up.
It's almost lunchtime anyway.
All right,
it's
I'm 18 years old. Set the picture. I'm with a brand new boyfriend, a set of other people that I don't know. They're strangers. We drove up to Flagstaff to see snow. My first time seeing snow, being from Phoenix. And we're young, so we do things on the whim, as young people do. And they were doing helicopter rides down to the Grand Canyon. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds really fun. Forgetting that I'm motion sick. So,
oh no.
We get on this helicopter. The pilot lets me sit shotgun to him. They put on the headphones that play that the Running on the Beach, that Rocky movie, the Chariots of Fire, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're playing that song. It's all awesome. It's great. We're going through. He's dipping in and diving in and swooping, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm.
And you're with a new
sick.
boyfriend.
I was with a brand new boyfriend, and he was really cute. So we're going through the twists and turns, and I'm all of a sudden getting ready to upchuck, and I feel it. It's in my mouth, and I swallow it. Because I didn't want to puke in front of everybody. Yeah. Nobody wants that. I did a good thing for people there. I sucked it up literally.
You did.
Literally.
I didn't know there was that part.
I just literally kept it in.
So next time you see Kerri, just say, Kerri, how's that helicopter ride?
I'll stay on the ground. Thank you. No.
Great story. But you kind of held it. Well, you held it in.
I held it in. It did not bother anybody else but myself. So.
That is legit. That is literally the definition of choking it down.
Choking it down, man. And being about the people. See, if I didn't care about the people, I just would have let it go.
Absolutely.
See, I would have thought you were a political running for office because you tied it right back in nicely. It's about the people.
It's about the people. Our community is about the people, Phil.
If you want to talk to people here, they want to learn more about you, where do they go?
Yeah.
What website, what telephone, what do you want to do to communicate?
Yeah. I'm a huge LinkedIner. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I say it. I love to be on LinkedIn. I live there. But you can call me directly, 775-398-5107, or reach me at Kerri.O'Neill@OneDigital.com. You'll have a trouble spelling that, but find me on my website.
Or go to the website, contact us at the museum. We'll connect you with Kerri as well. Kerri, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for being our client. We appreciate you.
It's good partnership. We're very, very happy. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
We'll be back with more What Drives Reno on 1060 AM KFOY, Radio for America. From engines to innovators, What Drives Reno is your front row seat to the stories fueling our city. Join Phil McDougall of the National Automobile Museum as he explores the cars, culture, and community that make Reno roar. It's more than horsepower, it's people power. What Drives Reno? Catch the drive, catch the vibe. Don't miss it. Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on 1060 a.m. KFOY, Radio for America.
Looking for a venue for your next event? The National Automobile Museum can host any event in a variety of venues to choose from. Have an awards ceremony in the 157-seat theater, or select one of several themed galleries for a business luncheon or banquet. Guests will love the 16,000-square-foot Riverside Pavilion, complete with outdoor bar, heaters, and fire pits. Everything you need, including chairs, linens, staging, and AV equipment, are also available. Go to automuseum.org for details.
We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome back, Reno. Great show today, right?
Yeah.
It was paused.
Very much. No, there was.
I mean, I was here.
Sorry.
Come on.
All right.
I was looking at something else.
You're looking at, okay. So great show today. Kerri, thank you very much for coming on the show. Jim was here. Mike Norman was here. We had great turnout. We had Mayor Lawson here as well. Great storytelling. And the time we had left, I just want to remind everybody, go to automuseum.org. We have birthday parties, events, movies, summer concert series I talked about. But we also have something, we're partnering with the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce. Kerri, talk about that.
Yeah, the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce, the best commerce in the nation. I'm saying that now, and I really mean that. They are doing a business after hours. They do it at different businesses every time, but this time it'll be at the business.
This time it's extremely special.
This time the business after hours will be at the, the National Automobile Museum.
It's going to be the funnest one ever.
Yeah, and if you don't know, man, you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know what you're missing. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of people. They have refreshments. We have 250 cars. We'll do some fun stuff.
Pictures with the cars,
we
sit in the
got
car.
Grease Lightning. We got the Mystery Machine. We have a lot of fun things to offer. So don't forget, it's March 26th at the National Automobile Museum. It's on our website, automuseum.org. And you want to say something?
I do. I have a question. Did anybody win that Mazda?
No. The drawing, the end of the last drawing. Let me try that again. So they have an opportunity to win it up until the end of this month, and the car is going to be drawn on April 8th, and that's a 2016 Mazda MX-5.
Pretty little car.
Beautiful. I had a chance to drive it. So that is coming up too. We have so much to offer.
I want to zip that to Tahoe. So can I borrow it before somebody wins it?
You can win it. Yeah.
No, can I borrow it?
Oh, no, that doesn't happen. Terry, thank you very much. Another great show, great guests, and I look forward to seeing everybody or talking to everybody next week. Same time, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. What Drives Reno is come to an end.
You've been listening to What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. For more information about the museum, head on over to our website, automuseum.org. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. with What Drives Reno on 1060 a.m. KFOY, Radio for America.